hit the go live button. Finally, it's appeared. Are you watching the stream, Pigus? Okay, cool. Okay, so let's actually just pull it up here. Okay, so my notes are now up. So hopefully you guys can see them. So yeah, we'll get started in a minute. It appears that there's some we can actually see the notes, so that's good. So let's actually get started, guys. So let's get started with the notes. So the first story we're talking about is 4 terabytes. Actually, first we should start recording, shouldn't we? Hey guys, welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. It is the 12th of April 2024. So today we will be discussing SD cards to start with. So a number of stories this week. And apparently, you can now get 4 terabytes SD cards. At least you will be able to in 2025. So, hello, Pigus. Hello, this is the co-host this week. Hello, Pigus. So, have you seen the story before, Pigus, to do with the 4 terabyte SD cards? I mean, that's a lot for an SD card, right? Yeah, because I remember seeing like 1 terabyte SD cards, and I thought, this is pretty insane. But now 4 terabyte SD cards. I mean, it's gonna be really slow, I'm guessing. So with the even with these transfer speeds, I mean, 30 megabytes per second. That'd be pretty slow, wouldn't it, on a 4 terabyte SD card, right? Yes. Yeah. So maybe you'll have some problems writing stuff to this card, but at least you will be able to retrieve stuff from it. So I imagine this will be a very niche product. Not that many people will buy it when it actually comes out in 2025. And if you are recording 8K video, perhaps this could be a good investment. But if you're not doing that and you're just using your computer normally and you're not editing this 8K footage, then hopefully you won't actually need this. Because you probably don't want to have to pay for this, because it's probably going to be very expensive, and I think it'll be a very specialist product. Yeah. Hang on, $600. Yeah, that is pretty bad. If you want a reasonably priced 4 terabyte storage, then you could just get an SSD, an external SSD, or an external hard drive. You really don't need to buy an SD card. unless you have very specific, you have a very specific use case, because this is, yeah, a very niche product. But it's cool anyway. It's a very small form factor, and of course, it's some pretty interesting technological progress. Hello, Lily. I see you're in the Discord. Hello. Yeah. Hi. So yeah. So we're going to. So we're now gonna move on to the AI section of the show. So why don't we discuss the story there? Okay. So ChatGPT will now apparently have GPT-4 Turbo on paid plans. So previously you were only getting base GPT-4. Now you will be able to get this improved Turbo version if you are paying for ChatGPT. And apparently this new update will allow for more direct responses, which are less verbose, so they're a lot more, simple. And apparently it will also be more conversational. So that's pretty good if you just want to have some interactions with AI and you want to use it day to day. So if you're using ChatGPT Plus, then yeah, you probably want this plan. You probably want this update because it brings a lot of these, improvements to the table, and yeah, it's just a cool update for those who are paying for ChatGPT. Do you guys have any thoughts on that? I just need to quickly chuck this. I've got a clock in my room here, and I just need to throw it out of this room. So, yeah. 1 second. 1 second. Yeah, I've heard about this. So apparently, you can now, you can just use it without, actually having an account, which is a pretty good improvement, because previously you had to, previously you had to sign up for an account. It wasn't the best for privacy, perhaps. But now you can actually do it. You can now actually use ChatGPT without an account, which, yeah, is a big improvement. And of course, yeah. Oh. Yeah, I thought it already rolled out, but I've got a ChatGPT account, so I've got an OpenAI AI account, so I wouldn't have noticed either way. Anyway, yeah, so hopefully it'll come soon. I mean, in the meantime, there are AI, there's other websites which allow you to interact with an AI chatbot, so, or an AI, yeah, so basically if you want to chat with an AI, there are other options. I mean, there's Bing Chat. There's DuckDuckGo's AI feature, which relies on ChatGPT. And yeah, there's a number of options now, so you don't necessarily have to use OpenAI's ChatGPT, directly. Hmm. Yeah. 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 What things that are free and you don't have to sign up? Sorry. Repeat what you said. Hmm. I am not sure on the image generation side what you can. I think Copilot has some image generation functionality, but I am not sure whether you can do that without paying for Copilot. But I'd say investigate that if you were looking for that. But yeah, so there's a few sites that do AI image generation for free. But of course, it might not be the best image generation. So you're probably better off paying for image generation if you want to do something more seriously. Of course, you can generate stuff locally on a machine if you want to use, certain models, which, yeah, you can do that on your local machine. But of course, you need to have a decent graphics card for that. Yeah, there's a few options. I'll talk a bit later. Were you asking that as a question for the show, or do you kind of want to know that, outside of the show? For that, I think Copilot or an AI. I'll talk a bit later. For that, I think Copilot or an AI. I'll talk a bit later. Okay, okay. I just realized something. Whoops. Um, Desktop audio, not there. Okay, so OBS is so OBS has an update, and it turns out desktop audio. I just need to switch it on. um, I should have done a little bit more testing before we started here. Anyway, say something now. Huh? Yep. Okay. So let me output to a. Let me see. Say something now. Yep. Let me work this out. Perhaps it's Yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to resolve this with the desktop audio. Um, Try and say something again. So, just somebody. Oh. Okay, this is annoying. Um, Let me see. So I've got VB cable that should hopefully be connected to the output. The output is going to the multi-output device. Hopefully. Let me see. This should just be outputting, but it's not. What's the default? Okay, try and say something now. Just somebody. Yeah. Okay, do you use Windows for your streaming, Lenny? Okay, so I'm trying to figure out what the problem is, so what? Why wouldn't it just? Why wouldn't it just capture desktop audio? I mean, it shouldn't be that hard. VB cable. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah. Well, yeah. See ya. So, bye. Um, say something now, Pigus. So. Okay, so it appears that the desktop audio is not working today. That is not good. Um, let me think here. Let me think. So if we don't have the desktop audio, what's the best other solution? I mean, yeah, this should just be working. I mean, this is the problem with doing OBS updates. You know, don't update software before you start streaming. Yeah, so that's really annoying. Really annoying. Yeah, more macOS problems. You know, if this was like Windows, if this was like any other platform, wouldn't be a problem. But because it's macOS, and for some reason, OBS is no longer recognizing my my audio capture. So that's annoying. I'm also now accidentally showing the MIDI settings. Okay. I'm sorry about this, guys. This is not good. I am trying to fix the issues with this, and hopefully we can get started in a minute. So basically, what's going on is, yeah, we aren't currently able to capture the desktop audio, so we need to fix that so we can actually hear the people on Discord. But I'm just troubleshooting what is going wrong here. So a nasty OBS update, I think. Yeah. So sorry about this, guys. I could try and capture your audio track in another thing, but then the people wouldn't be able to hear it live while while we're still actually streaming. Yeah, wouldn't be able to hear like your the Discord audio, so that would be bad. Okay, so look. I'm gonna troubleshoot this, guys. I think if I try and just fix this now, hopefully we can actually if I restart this, hopefully we can actually get started with the show without actually having these issues. And yeah, I'll see you guys in a minute. So yeah, that's the reason why the stream is just gonna cut out for a minute, guys. So yeah, see you in a minute, guys. It works. It works. Cool. Okay. I think we can get started now, guys. Hey guys, welcome back. So now we're actually capturing the desktop audio. So thank you for bearing with us. And now we can actually get started with the show properly. So let's actually load up the notes here. So OBS being typical OBS, it has it's closed the my screen capture, which is annoying. Let me load that up. So hopefully, can you see that, guys? Can you see the screen capture? No, you can't. That's annoying. Um. So yeah, so sorry about that, guys. Now we can actually get started, and yeah, so we will get started with the first story, and we can actually discuss it with Piggis. Hello, Piggis. Hello. Sorry, say something again, Piggis, just to check. Everything's working. Okay, so it will work now. Now it will work. Now say something, Piggis.
Hello.
Yeah, so now it's working. Okay, so hey guys, welcome to the Sandro Linux Community Podcast. It is the 12th of April, 2024. So today we will be discussing a few stories. So the first story we will be discussing is 4 terabyte SD cards. So this is not something I would have really imagined 5 years ago. You know, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Well, I wouldn't have said 5 years ago discussing 4 terabyte SD cards. So this is, you know, a really high capacity SD card. I must say the write speeds aren't really good enough for the 4 terabyte spec. So 13 megabytes per second. Yeah, it might be enough for some use cases, but maybe not for, you know, dealing with a 4 terabyte SD card. Now, this is a very niche product, I would say. So it won't be available until 2025, and when it is available, it will cost around, it says on this article, around $600 or more. So in the UK, that will be even more than that. You know, that would be most likely, you know, like 600 and something pound, and that's a high price to be paying for an SD card. And of course, for people who are handling 8K footage, you know, that is justifiable. Maybe that higher price, you could, you know, justify it. Because, of course, you're probably doing stuff with, like, red cameras or whatever, you know, very expensive cameras that you are using, and you're more willing to splash out on SD cards. But for ordinary people, this is probably not worth it. And yeah, there are very limited use cases for this SD card outside of video and photography. And, you know, perhaps if you wanted to test whether a phone could take like a really high capacity SD card, perhaps this could be a good test for it. But apart from that, apart from future phones which support this higher, you know, capacity, yeah, there's not really that many use cases. And you should really, if you want such a high capacity drive, you should really just go for an SSD, so an external SSD, or an external hard drive. So yeah, so an external hard drive will serve you well, or an SSD if you're looking for faster read and write speeds. Now, do you have any thoughts on this,
Mhm.
Pigus? I mean, it's a pretty
I think
cool thing, but not really that practical.
I think you covered most of it.
Yeah. I mean, I could see some people buying this. I could see some people, you know, who do a lot of photography, perhaps buying this. If they're, you know, working with 8K footage, buying this. But outside of very select use cases, this will not really see that much usage.
It's very interesting how like they said that the SD cards could potentially handle up to 128 terabytes of storage.
I did not see that aspect.
So
100.
apparently,
Yeah, sorry.
Mm.
128 terabytes of storage. That would be absolutely, yeah, insane. So that's
Also, that they stated soon could hold up
yeah,
to that.
yeah. Well, who knows how soon is, because that is a very high number. But of course, we have seen the sort of almost exponential increase in storage capacity throughout the years. At least it seems like it from just a normal consumer perspective. Uh, and yeah, so once upon a time, a gigabyte was a lot of storage, and now, we're getting like terabytes of storage in this very small form factor. So that's nice. That's always nice to see technological improvement. And of course, that will continue to move forward until one day, it's no longer going to be that possible to, increase the amount of storage such a small form factor can hold without some major change. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, moving on to the AI news, guys. So, this is the story we got to when we had some technical difficulties, but now we're back. So, ChatGPT has actually now got a new upgrade. So, if you are paying for ChatGPT Plus, Team, or Enterprise, you can now use GPT-4 Turbo. So, Turbo has some improvements, such as improved writing, math, logical reasoning, and coding skills, as well as having basically more eloquent speech. So it's a bit more conversational, a bit less verbose in its responses. So it will get more straight to the point. And that is a nice improvement to see, because sometimes ChatGPT can beat around the bush a bit. It can, use more words than is strictly necessary to describe things, but it's getting better at actually condensing down information, and this upgrade should hopefully do that for more users. So yeah, if you're paying for ChatGPT, or you're a work user, or a team user, then yeah, this will be a nice upgrade.
Mm.
Yeah, really nice, really nice.
They state that the knowledge of ChatGPT is up to date, by December last year.
Oh, that's a big improvement, because usually ChatGPT has like the knowledge of somebody who lived like 2 years ago or something.
Mhm.
And yeah, now with that
Now it's just a few months.
what do you say?
Now it's just a few months.
Yeah, now it's just a few months, so you can ask it about the latest AAA game, and
Mhm.
as long as it was released a few months ago, it could tell you stuff about it. It could tell you about, like, whatever you want to know about news, maybe from, like, a few months ago. Yeah, you could get a lot of information from it, which you couldn't previously, because that is closing quite a gap in knowledge. So yeah, that's another nice upgrade for those paying customers. Now, moving on to a story that I've seen covered quite a bit. It's quite an interesting story. The FCC in the US, for the folks in the US, you can now apparently see sort of nutritional labels for your broadband specs. So now apparently you will no longer have to deal with those pesky little hidden fees on your broadband in the US. You'll now actually be able to see the exact rundown of the fees that you will have to pay in pretty much the exact same style to the nutrition facts in the US. So I've seen this labeling before on US products. And yeah, this is now, broadband. Facts, not nutrition, broadband. So this is quite a, a nice improvement for those in the US. And I hope a similar thing happens in the EU and the UK. I mean, imagine traffic light, traffic light broadband. I think that might be a bit of a difficult one to do, but yeah, so if you could have a more, simple layout to show how much things will cost, and perhaps make it easier for consumers to quantify that, then yeah, it could be a massive improvement for consumer rights, and that's always good.
More transparency.
Yeah,
Transparency.
yeah, good, good.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, good news.
Mhm.
Now, moving on to the next story here. So, Orange so France Telecom, basically what it used to be known as, is apparently launching a youth training program in the Middle East and Northern Africa. So, apparently they are training people in key skills such as artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and digital marketing. So, this is a pretty cool thing for those in that region. And of course, it is, always good to see more training programs getting people to get, be able to get more educated in technology. And yeah, overall, a pretty cool effort from Orange here.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, a little story there. I was thinking, should I include that one? I did anyway. Just want to cover over it very quickly, and then we can move on. So now, so moving on to the Android news here, guys. So the leaked Google Pixel 8a renders show off the phone in 4 different colors. So apparently it will be mint, porcelain, obsidian, and bay. So I like that mint color. I think it looks like pretty nice, to be honest. It looks like a pretty cool phone design. So maybe I might get a Pixel 8a. Who knows? But this is a pretty cool phone design in general. It just kind of polishes, I suppose, the existing Google design. They've had a similar design for a couple different phones now, and they do appear to be settling more on a certain design language for their phones, and I think that's a good thing for the Pixel line. Because, of course, some of their phones have been a hit, some of them have been not so successful, but, of course, the 8A, yeah, it will be a test whether the 8A has any success, but, of course, Google's budget line does usually get quite high sales. Now, yeah, let's move on, unless you have anything to say, Figures.
No.
Yeah, cool. So Motorola is teasing their new flagship phone for April the 16th. So apparently it is a new addition to the Edge family. So of course the Motorola Edge line has already been a thing, and apparently they are now going to be launching even more products in that line. So I've not really had my hands on a Motorola in quite a while now, but they are a pretty cool Android maker, and yeah, apparently this new phone will come with the fast 125 watt charging, so that will charge the phone quite quickly. And now they have launched, and now they've actually announced, another event. Yeah, cool. Now, do you want to cover the library news a bit, Pigus? I need to go for a second, just for 1 second.
Uh,
Do you want to talk a bit about the Odyssey stuff, just for a minute? Just while I, need to go for, about 30 seconds.
bro. Huh?
Yeah, just talk about, you talk about it before the show. Do you want to talk a bit about it? I mean, Odyssey moving away from library. I mean, that's a new story, right?
Yeah, I thought we could take that last.
Nah, can we do that now? I think that might be a good shout. Do you want to cover that now? Just quickly. I'll come to discuss it in a minute.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, why don't we actually just continue on? I mean, you don't want to discuss it clearly, as in you don't want to cover it, so, we'll continue on. So the Endeavour OS devs have said goodbye to their ARM branch, and apparently now you will have to use the x86 option. So clearly, the maintainers of Endeavour OS are quite stretched. It is, or it's quite an admirable endeavor maintaining a Linux distribution, and of course it's quite a difficult one, so I understand why they do this, but of course it is quite annoying for those on ARM platforms, such as the Raspberry Pi and a number of other devices, because now you will no longer be able to use Endeavour OS. Do you have any thoughts on that?
I think it had a lot to do with the desktop environments not supporting it properly and stuff. Mm-hmm. Hello?
Yeah. Whoa. Sorry, I had to go for a thing. I did say, mate.
Yeah, that like the desktop environments made it hard like to run ARM versions of them.
Oh yeah. So the desktop environments they weren't. Yeah, so of course, if desktop environments won't support the ARM platform, it does make sense if Endeavour OS try and discontinue that, because of course it's going to be very hard to maintain a desktop without the a distro without the desktop environments being on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, one of the maintainers of the ARM branch like heavily relied on ARM hardware.
Oh, okay.
Like recently slowly moving away to x86 because of like support issues.
Oh, so of course they're not going to be able to maintain the ARM version if they're now running x86. That makes sense. Thanks for telling me about that, Pigus. Now, let's continue on to the next story. So, Google is apparently threatening to cut off news in California after it proposed paying, the Californian government proposed paying for paying media outlets. So apparently this new law could force Google to, I'm guessing, pay up. Yeah, pay up for linking news articles. And we've seen similar legislation in Australia. I mean, Facebook and Google blocked their stuff in Australia for a bit. Definitely Facebook. And yeah, we didn't see much happen there, really, when it comes to a reversal. So I imagine similar will happen here. I imagine people in California will just no longer be able to access Google News. That is if they keep to their word, and they don't just continue supporting the California market. It does seem weird, though. It does seem weird for Google having to discontinue a product in their sort of home state. But yeah, I suppose that's the reality. Yeah. But yeah, I wonder how they dodge around it apart from just discontinuing it in California. Anyway, moving on to the next story. So the open table reservation system is apparently now going to be adding the first names to formerly anonymous reviews. So this comes after news from Glassdoor, a very popular career site, that they were doing similar. So this is quite a bad story for those who, value their privacy, those who handed over their name with full knowledge that it wouldn't actually be handed out, who thought that was the case. And now it's being handed out by this website without really much consent. And yeah, that is a pretty bad thing for people who put their name down on this website. Yeah. I mean, it's basically like getting doxxed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in Europe, hopefully you could do like a GDPR request to try and get them to remove it. But apart from that, I'm not sure. Anyway, moving on to the next story. So, Apple Health Study proves that anybody can run a marathon. I'm not sure anybody can, but let's continue on. But yeah, so apparently, they ran a study using the Apple Watch, and it showed that apparently 50% of participants had at least one single running workout of more than 5k or more, and apparently they continued on to run more and more. And yeah, this is an interesting study. I'm not gonna go too in depth with these numbers here, but it is cool to see Apple using this technology for good, partnering up with different organizations, and actually using their data that they collect for a good thing. Now, of course, you can opt out of this data collection, and of course, you might want to, but it's a nice thing for those who want to give over that data. Anyway, moving on. Do you have any thoughts, Piggers?
No.
Okay, how about we go on to a controversial one, Piggers? Ready for that one? Anyway, so apparently the UK government says that they want to ban, UK ministers apparently might be considering banning the sale of smartphones to under 16s. Now, the details of this one are a bit like, not exactly too clear, because this isn't even draft legislation yet. At least I don't think it is. And apparently, this is basically because the majority of people in the UK believe that it's a good idea to ban sales of smartphones to under 16s. So that's the reason why ministers are going ahead with this. But Yeah, I would say I do agree with this statement. It is a bit of out. It is a bit out of touch. Realistically, in 2024, most people, pretty much as soon as they go to high school, use smartphones. It's going to be very hard to police the sale of phones, and of course, having to show ID to buy a phone. I mean, come on, man. That is pretty bad, I would say, but yeah. And from a more sort of practical standpoint, apparently they want to limit people who are under 16 to only using phones which are suitable for them, which don't have all the social media apps that are out there. So how are they actually going to ensure that there's a child-friendly phone? Who knows? Not clear yet. But they would have to design an entire new platform for that. It would be very costly, and I don't know what the actual plan is for that. I mean, what? What do you think, Piggis?
I mean, it is true. Like they can be very harmful for younger people who don't know what they're doing online and stuff.
Yeah,
But I
true.
think this is a little bit overkill.
Yeah, I feel it might be. I also feel it might be a bit sort of distraction of sort of like a political distraction. Because because of course ministers want to push this sort of banning of the sales of smartphones to under 16s to distract from other scandals going on within government. So of course, you can say, think of the children. What about, them? Why are we selling phones to under 16s? But of course, maybe banning the sale of smartphones to under 16s is, not the maddest thing. But then actually saying that under 16s are not allowed to use regular phones, that is a bit of a hard one to enforce, I imagine. And also, yeah, it's not like smartphones are literally like, drugs. Um, I mean, some social media apps are quite addictive, but I think this is going a bit overboard. Yeah, so yeah, I don't agree with this. I don't agree with the Online Safety Act because, both have some sort of measures which go a bit overboard in my personal view. However, you can have your own opinion on this one. I mean, getting ID'd for buying a phone might be a bit weird. I mean, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, but I'm willing to hear your thoughts on this one, guys. Yeah. Um. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and share. See you guys in the next one. Yeah.